There are reports of clashes in Yemen as protesters stormed the American embassy in the capital, Sanaa. Witnesses say gunfire is being heard and smoke is said to be rising over the compound in Sanaa. Embassy employees are being moved to a safe location now. And let's cross to RT's correspondent in the region, Lucy Kavanagh. Lucy, details are sketchy right now, but what can you tell us now?
Well, it's really unclear what exactly the situation on the ground is. One of my contacts is actually reporting that protesters in Yemen have broken through the main gate of the U.S. embassy there. Reuters says hundreds, Sky News sources say several thousands in total. But again, this is all based on eyewitness reports, and so it's quite murky as to the facts. What we did hear is that embassy employees in the Sanaa U.S. embassy there have been moved to a safer location. There were multiple reports of live ammunition being used potentially by the security forces to disperse the crowd. Again, we don't have live pictures at the moment, so it's very difficult to tell, but it certainly seems like the situation there is escalating. There was also reports of smoke rising and masses of people gathering around the area. Of course, this isn't the only location where protests have been taking place, but what we have to keep in mind in terms of Yemen is this is one country that has been sort of on the cusp of potential uprisings there. The U.S. drone warfare programs in that country are not very popular, neither is the ambassador. And so if things do escalate there in Yemen, we really could see a very negative, serious implications for the region.
Sure, and this is obviously as protests continue to rage across the region with angry crowds still amassed in Cairo, Lucy.
Yes. Well, the situation in Cairo has really seemed to be escalating, if not deteriorating. Following the storming of the embassy there, as well as in Benghazi in Libya, the protests on the streets of Cairo have really been intensifying in reaction to this really controversial film. We've heard reports of tear gas, Molotov cocktails being used by protesters, rocks being hurled outside there. I think you're looking at live pictures now of the devastation. And it really serves to signify how unpopular these kinds of cultural mistakes are when films like this get propagated around the globe. But we do have to make a distinction between what's going on in Egypt and in Libya. In Egypt, U.S. policies were not exactly welcomed there. A lot of the people who had risen up in the so-called Arab Spring movement there really saw the U.S. as the backer of former President Hosni Mubarak. In Libya, to the contrary, the rebel groups there had really welcomed Western intervention, had wanted the U.S. and other Western countries to help overthrow Muammar Gaddafi. And so it's quite ironic and sad, frankly, to see the Islamist groups, if that is indeed who turns out to be behind this uprising in Benghazi, to see the same people who the U.S. helped overthrow Gaddafi rise up and attack the embassy there. It's quite a contradictory sort of situation. And we do also have to keep in mind there have been protests over this film also in Tunisia. We also really have to keep a close watch on what happens in Afghanistan, where deaths over the burning of the Quran had taken place before. So if the situation escalates there, it would really be difficult to see how they could quell potential violence in Afghanistan.
Yeah, it looks like the U.S. is not leaving Libyans to hunt down the killers of Washington's ambassador on their own, aren't they?
Well, yes, and back to Libya. I mean, the big question is why they hadn't protected the embassy in the first place. But we have heard from President Barack Obama that a team of Marines is being shipped out to the area to stabilize the situation there. We've also heard a potential Navy destroyer ship and another sea vehicle being deployed to the area, supposedly for humanitarian assistance and possible evacuations, although that's not been confirmed. And we've also, more disturbingly, heard reports of drones, unmanned aerial surveillance vehicles being deployed to the area to supposedly hunt for so-called radical groups there, although it's quite unclear how that's actually going to play out and how they're going to get them out of the area, once the situation stabilizes. So very disturbing developments here in the Middle East.
Yeah, of course. And also we're getting reports of some casualties on both sides in Yemen. Of course, we will keep you posted on this developing story. Lucy Kavanagh reporting there live from the region. Lucy, thank you very much indeed.